How's it going, YouTube? Chris here, my home theater. I got a brand new video for you today. Today we're going to be talking about a subject that I talked about probably 4 years ago, and it's on bi-amping your speakers. How to do it, and is it worth it? So let's dive into it. First of all, we're going to come over here and we're going to look at the speakers. Now, as you can see in this speaker here, still has the brass pieces put on by the manufacturer. But on this one, I have took the brass pieces out and I've put 12 gauge speaker wire in there. Now, this 12 gauge speaker wire is what I use on everything. In my living room setup, I did do 10-2. I do like the 10-2. I like the little, heavier gauge on the speakers. But I didn't have a whole lot of that left. So I do 12-2 everywhere else. You can do 14, 16, but to me, especially on long runs, I wouldn't recommend it. I just use 12-2. That's just me. So there was a discussion some years ago about how to wire these things up, and the brass pieces, even though the manufacturers put them on there, this was, like I say, this was a discussion that was out, that this really isn't the better way. So that's why I went with this. And also, and we'll talk about that in a minute too. So what you want to do, we're going to show you how to bi-amp first of all. So depending on your setup, like this XMC2 does not have RCAs for all your inputs here. So this has just XLRs. Now this is one of my older Rockville amps that I had left over. So as you can see, it has all the different inputs, speak-ons and regular speaker cables, RCAs, the still XLRs, but you can use you can use the male in here and female here. So, and it's just a different way it looks, not like this one, but it's the same thing. So let's just say that you don't have, let's just say you have an older amp. I had some older amps. I'm trying to remember the Kenwood that I had. They did not have XLRs. So what you would have to do, let's just say if you have XMC2 and you're running some older amps. Now, some of the older amps are really good amps. So if you run into that situation, you would have to buy one of these. And we talked about it in that video yesterday. I showed these cables, I think, on talking about in the Outlaw amp, that you would have to, let's just say, you would have to plug it in here. Let's just say your amp just had RCAs, and then you would plug it in there like that. So, but this is not the case. Like I say, my Pioneer has RCAs. The Outlaw had RCAs, so I didn't have to do that. But just in that kind of case, you would have to have those adapters. Now, this is going to be a weird deal here, but if you're going to bi-amp your speaker into one single channel, you got to have a signal coming from both of these channels. Now, I don't know if this is the best way of doing it, but this is the way I've always done it when I bi-amped. So I got my RCAs here, and we're going to plug them in. Now, this is a weird looking contraption here, and I'll see. Okay, so this is, the cable is longer than I wanted it to be. So what I did is I got a Y cord. Okay, I got a Y cord, and I had to plug it into this here, which is the XLR, like I just showed you. And this is the adapter here because these adapters are male, and I needed female. So this is a female to female adapter, and we just plug it straight in. So now you are getting the signal for the center channel. You're getting it to both of these channels here. Now that would have to be, I don't see any other way of doing it, but it works. And I've done that. Not necessarily with this setup like you see here, but I did do that on when I was running the Kenwoods. I had my whole front stage bi-amped all 3 speakers because I didn't really have powerful amps, so I bi-amped those RTIA9s, and it worked out good. So next of all, got some speaker cables. Now I built these this morning. I ran out of boots, so I had to kind of try to make it look good. And this is the flex cable here. You can get all this stuff on Amazon. You know, it's not much. It's just a few dollars, but it actually makes for a nice looking cable. So what you would do is you'd come over here. Well, first of all, you want to make sure your amp is on stereo and not bridged. So we got it on stereo. So you'd come over here to channel A, and you would plug it in like so. Now these the banana plugs are hard to plug in on these. So you plug that in there. Well, you would actually take these out. So don't forget to do that when you're bi-amping. You would actually take these out. I don't want to take them out, but you do not leave these in if you're bi-amping, because you don't want the signal running from here to here, and then these running from here to here. It would probably be disastrous. So as a matter of fact, you know, I should have had this one ready to do with that. So let's just say this is bi-amping. Make sure you take these out. Do not leave them in. Do not leave them in. Don't leave them in. I'm gonna keep because I got them in. I'm telling you, don't leave them in to bi-amp. So then you would plug that in, and then you would plug that in there. Yeah, we got it. So now what's happening is the amp, which is around I think around 130 watts a channel. So that 130 watts a channel is going into your top set of posts, which the top set of posts should be driving the tweeter, and the bottom set of posts should be driving your mid-range driver. So that is what happens when you bi-amp. And make sure you take these or the brass pieces completely out. Do not leave them in there. They're in there now, but there ain't supposed to be if you're bi-amping. So that's how you would bi-amp your speakers. So now let's take this off. Let's take all this out. We're going to start over again. Okay? That's how you would bi-amp. That's what you would do if you were bi-amping. All right, now let's just say you wanted to bridge the amp to run that speaker. So first thing you would do, you come over here, and most amps, some amps have the bridge mode. Some of your older amps don't. I can't remember if my Kenwood did. So on this amp, you would come back and you would hit bridge, and then you could come along and trying to remember if there was if you just could use one line, or did you have to use both? Okay. I'm not sure about that, guys. You'd have to look in the manual. But basically you would, and every amp's different too now. So you might, I guess you would still have to use those, have to use both of them because you're using both channels. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to, let me plug that back up. So we would plug that back up. Like I say, every amp's different, but we're gonna do this just like this. So we're gonna bridge it on the center channel. All right, now some amps do it different ways. This one uses both of the positives here. So we're gonna do, so you do left and right. So we'll make sure we get it like that. Make sure I get it right. Okay, so that's, all right, I had it wrong. So that's the positive, and that's the negative. Or did I get it wrong still? It's dark. It's dark, guys. Yep, that's negative. That's positive. So then when we come over here, and this is another discussion. Is it better to plug them in the bottom post, or is it better to plug them like this? If I can do them like that with this cable. So you could do it like that, or you could actually come back and plug it in the bottom one, because you still have your cables back on that you had off bi-amped, you put them back on to run them like this. I run my speakers like this. That's why you see this one over here has the little tabs off of that. So that's why I do that. But you can, I mean, you don't have to run them like that. I didn't make this part long enough to be able to do that. So, and that's how you would bridge this amp, bridge that speaker. So now you're running both channels into one channel. You're getting the signal for both channels because you got to have, because you're going to take one off this post and one off this post to run over here. So now you're getting the full, I think it's 450 watts, 400 watts, 450, something like that. So now I'm getting 450 watts on this speaker rather than 130 watts. So that's how you bridge. So now we looked at bridge and we looked at bi-amp, and now we can look at how to do it if you're just going to do it the regular way, just for one channel. So now we can get rid of this, and we can come over here and let's say we're going to put it on channel B, and we're going to do this, and we're going to come back to our yellow plug, and we're going back into the center, and then we're going make sure we got it right here, and then we're going to go back into there. Now you're just running it the regular way, and you're getting 130 watts on that speaker. So I hope it's not confusing, guys. It can be. This amp is a little weird, and just the whole setup here. And then we got to turn it back to stereo. So now we're getting that working there. Now, if we wanted, now we're going to run two speakers. How my end come off my other speaker wire? So that ain't good. I'd have to fix that right fast, but we'll show you anyway. So then you would come along and plug in. So we're going to run both of these speakers, and let's just say we're going to go with front left here, and then we're going to go let's see, front right here. We're going to plug that in there, and then we're going to come along and we're going to plug that in there, plug that in there. Yeah, see, I turned my wire come out, and then we're going to come over here, and then we're gonna plug it the weird way. So we're gonna do it like that. Let's plug that back in like that. Matter of fact, because I made the other side longer, let's do this. Let's do this, guys. And that way we can show you how to do it hooking up stereo. So there you go, guys. You hook it up, and because the brass pieces are in and we have our cable in here, we can run the bottom post and the top post, the positive and the negative. And that honestly, if you go look at my speakers, that's how I got them done. That's just how I do it. Does it make a difference? I don't think so. There was always a discussion about the brass pieces and how to wire them up. This is how I do it right here. That is how I do it. So that way you got, and you don't normally do this, but for some reason I pulled it out. Must stepped on it on the floor. It was under my feet. So guys, we're gonna unplug this again. But that is how you bi-amp and how you run bridged, and that's how you wire them up stereo. And like I say, I know it's a little, maybe a little confusing or something with this Rocktech, but you know, basically you can use that format to all of your other amps to get the same thing, because you gotta, like I say, if you're gonna bi-amp, you got to pull these two channels together, or your center or your left or right or whatever. You gotta wire these two channels on the amp together to run both sets of posts, because the amp still needs to think it's running stereo mode, because basically that's what you're doing. You're using this channel for the top post here, and using this channel for the bottom post here. So the amp is still playing stereo, but you're getting, you know, 130 watts on this, 130 watts on that. So that's how you do it. Or you can bridge it and wire them up, take these out, or take these out on the biamp, leave them on bridged. And, okay, take these out the biamp, take these brass pieces off, take these off, take them off. I'm stressing that because I left them on and I wish I wouldn't have. So take these off to biamp, put them on the bridge amp, wire them up. It's simple. So guys, it's just a little video to show you exactly how to biamp or bridge your speakers. And honestly, I think if you actually, you're going to get more power to bridge the speakers, I think you're better off because the whole speaker is going to get full 450 watts. And biamping, I guess it could have it advantages. I've done both, and to me, bridge works well, but different circumstances call for different things. So depending on your circumstances, you could use either one. And like I say, I've used both. And when I had, let's see, when I had those Emotiva amps, the XPR2s, I was actually biamping my RTIA9. So it was getting 600 watts on both posts over here. You know what I'm saying? It was getting 600 watts on here, 600 watts on here. So I think that's how they wired up, is the tweeter is one post and the mid-range and the bass drivers are on the other post. If I remember, that's how those Monitor 70s were that I used to have. So the RTA9s, I think, are the same thing. So that was a screaming speaker biamped. Yeah, basically you putting 600 watts on both terminals. That was a trip. I'm telling you. So one, I didn't blow it up because they only handle 500 watts, and those Emotivas were some of the best amps I've ever had as far as power goes. I mean, they were beasts. So many options, guys. I just wanted to just kind of update this video, and hope you enjoyed it. And different kind of video. Not even gonna get in front of the camera today. We're just gonna do it this way right here. So I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, drop down into the comments, of course, and I'll do my best to answer. So guys, hope you have a good week. It's 4th of July week. We're going to be off some days coming up this week. So looking forward to that. And we're going to get some more content out to you. I got some more videos coming. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you again in the next video.